Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I wanted to give you some tips and suggestions for the upcoming Guild Ball 14. And this time we have another event boss that's also a Guild Ball boss, so this time it's the Slime King. And well, it's not as bad as last month's Fire Lucia ranking. It's also just as annoying battle because the Slime King isn't alone. There will be waves of mini slimes you have to defeat as quickly as possible because the Slime King has a force gauge that gets depleted every time you defeat those mini slimes. And until you deplete that force gauge, you barely do any damage to the boss, but when you finally defeat those slimes and deplete the gauge, it's almost the end of the battle, so you barely have any time to actually focus on a boss. And also how fast you go through those slime waves depends on your DPS. But that's not all. There's also a sigil phase with damage sigils, and while on lower difficulties you don't need diamond sigil, on those higher stages, so stage 5 and 6, you definitely need it. And luckily the sigil phase isn't as annoying or tight as in last Guild Ball. Just overall I personally find this battle also irritating. But also I'm not sure what Applebot will do, because you can get the title screen error in this battle, and last time we had this, Applebot delayed the Guild Battle by a week, but this time I'm not sure. Or rather, I don't think that they will delay it because they want all events to end just before the anniversary and they don't want anything to overlap. So I don't know, but personally during mocks I have encountered this error a few times, but so far it has kicked me out after the battle has ended, so when I was about to go to those post-battle screens. But few of my guildmates have been kicked mid-battle, so be careful. And the best team for this ranking seems to be Naki as support, Sid as sub DPS and Sephiroth as main DPS. And Naki will be especially great as only support and healer if you have his limit break gear that buffs magic attack and lightning damage, and his ultimate weapon applying exploit weakness for allies. So then Naki quite literally covers all offensive buffs, and then Sid with his lightning arcanum outfit and that lightning spear to debuff lightning resistance of all enemies at the same time, and also help a little bit with damage. But that AoE debuff is really helpful because it's fast and you want to kill those small slimes as fast as possible. And also Sephiroth because again it targets all enemies, but Vincent is a good alternative. Or Tifa will work too if you have that Monster Hunter gear, but you have to keep switching targets a lot throughout the battle. And Aerith is also a nice alternative support, not as good as Prime Naki, but you have some weapons to choose from, like Terra to debuff lightning resistance, Crimson to buff magic attack and also debuff defense of those small slimes, or that new Sage staff to apply team exploit weakness. So there are some weapons that you can choose from with her. But other than this, there is still Angio with single target magic attack weapon and diamond sigil, but he's a tank so he won't be doing a lot of damage, but it's still something. But on my own team I have Sephiroth with Naki and Aerith, and I tried all possible setups because not having Naki's ultimate weapon really hurts. And it doesn't help that my Sid is 5-star, so OB0, so I'm missing a lot of damage with those low potency debuffs. So instead I have Aerith with Tarot to debuff lightning resistance of all enemies, and I tried Crimson stuff just to debuff those mini slimes, and it was also fine as well, but I chose Sage stuff, and yes, when having it, technically I don't need Odin, since she already applies exploit weakness, or when having Odin I can have Crimson stuff, but Sage stuff can extend the duration of Exploit Weakness, and without it I would have to cast it more times with Sephiroth instead of DPSing, especially near the end of the battle. But also Sage Staff's Exploit Weakness is 30% and Odin has 40%, so that's 10% damage gain. I don't know, I tried various different combinations and well, in some the damage difference is rather small with around 2-5% score difference, but this one seems the best and most reliable, and I just want to minimize the risk of me screwing up a run. But with this team I can solo lower stages up to stage 4 and then do a little bit over 50% on stage 5 and just a little 13% on stage 6. Alright, on Aerith team, in case you didn't pull for Nanaki, but every battle starts the same. You just want to start applying all offensive buffs as quickly as possible, because King Slime is immune to magic defense debuff and pretty much everything else, so the only thing you can apply on him is lightning resistance debuff. But on those slimes you can debuff their magic defense, so if you have that, great. But without Naki, I don't think you can solo stage 4. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Because he has so many available buffs and Exploit Weakness, but here on lower stages you don't actually need Diamond Sigil, as I said, so just X to get that 100% damage bonus. I got 90%, that's so good. But you still barely do any damage because he has his defenses up, so we still need to defeat more of those mini slimes. But it's fine. But those mini slimes, those ones and the ones after, they have a lot more HP. So be careful, but also on stage 1 and 2, most likely if you have AoE damage, you don't really have to target them individually, but stage 3 and higher you definitely want to do that. So yeah, even OB0 Sid, he can finish them off by himself, but here just wait till King Slime's defenses, they just go down and now you can start doing some damage. But also if you defeat those slimes, you can get King Slime to lower his defenses even more. But that might be tricky, it depends on your DPS, if you are strong enough. But if you want to, you can just target him individually. But yeah, technically it should appear. Yes, when you see that rage, yes, he buffs his attack, but if you are fast enough, you might still have enough time for him to drop those defenses and you will do a lot more damage, but you need high DPS for that, especially on higher stages. Alright, now Sid, Nanaki and Vincent, and Nanaki only has his lightning collar because my Vincent is OB0, so he can't really debuff lightning potency as much, but on stage 3 already I recommend just start targeting those slimes just to defeat them as quickly as possible so you get through those phases faster. Now the second wave, so the same thing, and also with Naki you can also help debuffing that lightning resistance in case if you miss any damage. But after you defeat those 2 waves, there is always the sigil phase. And again, you can do 1 diamond sigil if you want to, but just make sure that you get a good damage bonus multiplier. It doesn't have to be 100%, but at least have 70%, I think. But if you get 100, it's even better. And so right now, 3rd wave, so the same thing. Next one. And it's alright, 1 more. And also, I don't think I can do 100% on this stage. Yes, said it's OB0, but also my Vincent has no overspeed at all. 0 nodes, nothing. And also his weapon is not OB10, he doesn't have outfits, but if you have stronger Vincent, even with this setup, you definitely can. But I just don't want to invest into Vincent. I never use him, so I have no reason to. But alright, this is buffed. And yes, I'm not sure if you have single target Vincent, I'm not sure if you want to defeat those slimes. Or it might be just better to focus on a boss. I'm not sure what might be better. You might want to test it out yourself. Because if you defeat those slimes very fast, then you make the boss to lower his defenses, so it might be more beneficial to you. It just depends, I'm not sure. But yeah, that will be what, 90%? And I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm very confident that yes, if you have better DPS for this battle, like Vincent with OB10 and overspeed unlock, because overspeed is very important, so you definitely can solo it. It just depends on your setup. But yeah, that's 90%. And alright, my team, and let's just wait for those first arts to appear. Then we can do lightning resistance debuff, but I want to get both buffs first. So now it should be 1 shot. Just let's get the max magic attack and lightning potency. 2nd wave. Same thing, but now at least I need 2 shots, unfortunately, but there's nothing I can do about it. And actually Genji to nullify that debuff. And alright, on stage 5 you need Diamond Sigil, 2-3 casts, so you don't spend too long, because you also don't want to spend too long in the sigil phase, because then you have less time for the end of the battle. Alright, 1 more. Perfect. And now those hard waves of slimes, because now they are starting to get a lot more HP. They are just sponges at this point. And at least with my setup, I can defeat those ones, but I have no chance of defeating the next ones to get the King Slime to lower his defenses. I can just drop the shield, but not make him weak and vulnerable. But yeah, just 1 more. And now let's just try to do as much as we can here. Right, yeah, that will be what, 54% I think. Because unless I screw up something with the rotation, like lightning damage buff, it ends and I can't get it up because Naki's below 7% HP. I may lose a few percent, because it is quite a lot of damage that you are missing out on, but so far it's pretty consistent around 53-55%, so that's fine. But yeah, unfortunately I have Sephiroth, but Sephiroth alone can't really carry me through everything, because you need exploit weakness on Nanaki, you need a lot to do much better. But that's the best I can do. But yeah, I hope you found my video helpful, and good luck on your own hill battle. But yeah, that would be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.